So I want to show you peripherals around my desk setup that quietly remove friction and help me move way faster when getting stuff done without really thinking about it. I'd say individually they're small upgrades, but together they turn this setup into something that feels effortless to use. Welcome back to the Feel Productive channel. My name's Ez. Let's get into it. So at the heart of my setup is an Apple MacBook Pro M3 Pro plugged into an Apple Studio display with nano texture glass, and that gives me the performance and screen real estate I need, no stutters and no glare on the screen from the window. But honestly, that's not what makes this desk feel fast. So let's start with the thing I touch the most, which is the Apple Magic Keyboard with Touch ID and the numeric keypad. This does a couple of practical things for me in terms of speed. So I'm constantly unlocking my Mac, logging into apps, approving passwords, using Apple Pay and all of that stuff. And Touch ID on the keyboard just removes that tiny but constant friction of having to put in your password every time. And I probably use it about 10 or 15 times a day. The full numeric keypad is way faster as well than tapping numbers along the top row. It sounds really basic, but for any kind of number input, it just makes so much more sense. And it's such a nice quality of life upgrade. And the low profile, low treble keys, I think make this the fastest keyboard you can type on. Definitely for me, but it still manages to feel really high quality and not cheap like some of the third-party alternatives. And next to my keyboard is the Logitech MX Master Series 4, and honestly, this is one of the biggest speed cheats on my desk. If you've ever used any of the MX Master series, then you'll know the deal. The horizontal thumb wheel is perfect for scrolling timelines when I'm editing or moving across big documents. And the custom buttons let me map things like quick actions for capturing text, switching desktops, undo, copy, paste. So I'm constantly triggering shortcuts rather than moving my hand away from the mouse to the keyboard. There's also a new haptic feedback system in the mouse, which is a really strange but really cool sensation. When you press the thumb button down, it now activates this smart ring, which lets you choose from a number of different triggers based on how you customize it. So now I can summarize documents using AI just by pressing down on the thumb button. And it's really quick, it's really seamless. It's made my workflows so much more efficient. On the right side of my desk, I've got the Fifine Ampligame D6 stream controller, which on paper is aimed at streamers, but I use it more as a tiny control center for my desk to trigger quick actions that save me time. There are 15 mappable buttons that feel really satisfying to press, and everything is programmable via the Fifine Control Deck software. So I've got buttons mapped to my most commonly used productivity apps, so apps like Gmail, Notes, ChatGPT, Things Free, just the ones that I'm constantly reaching for. They're now right in front of me like a real life dock that I'm just pressing physically. And the bottom row of buttons I've got for various different kind of workflow efficiency purposes. So one of them toggles my Philips Hue scene for deep focus mode. So with one press, the backlighting and brightness change of my desk setup, and all of my devices go on like a do not disturb mode at the same time, which is nice and just makes me more likely to actually get into deep focus. You can also turn a button into a switch to perform two different actions after pressing once and then pressing again a second time. And so I've got one button that turns on and off my VPN, for example, which is super handy. Then there's this one which opens up multiple apps at the same time. Basically all of the ones I would manually open when starting a recording session for this channel. So it will turn on my smart light, open Logic Pro and Notion, etc. And again, it just saves me having to click around or use my keyboard. And I've got one button mapped to my productivity music playlist, so I don't have to spend time loading up Apple Music, finding the playlist. I just press one button and I'm in. And I've even got a lock screen button, so I just press a button, walk away from my laptop, and I know that the screen is locked, the screensaver's on, and you can pretty much map any action. It's super easy using the app, and the possibilities are pretty much endless. There's also a store with some pre-built plugins for you to select from, so you can add pre-made custom actions for a specific application straight away. Like for example, Lightroom, they've got Photoshop, Final Cut Pro, PowerPoint, or Spotify. They've got loads of different ones that are quite common and that you'll find really useful. The customizable RGB light around it is also really cool and brings the desk setup to life, and the overall quality and build feel almost identical to the Elgato Stream Deck which I was using before. These buttons feel bigger though and easier to press and just give the desk an overall better look and feel. By the way, you can find links to all of the products you see here down below, and be sure to like and subscribe for more tech and productivity content? I know you want to. So on the other side of the desk, I've got the Joyroom PODIX 140 watt 5-port GAN charger. And this is one of those unglamorous things that actually keeps this whole setup feeling effortless. This thing can disperse up to 140 watts of power across all of these different ports. There are 2 retractable USB-C cables that offer up to 100 watts each, and 1 USB-C port that gives you a full dedicated 140 watts if you need it. Plus you get 2 USB-A ports if you're feeling old school. And the main benefit is just not thinking about power at all whilst you're at your desk. I'm never hunting for a spare plug. I'm never wondering if something's charging fast enough. Everything on the desk comes from this single compact block. So my keyboard, mouse, phone, AirPods, camera, literally everything is covered, no stress. Then on the top of my studio display, I've got the BenQ ScreenBar Halo monitor light, and this is one of my favorite productivity upgrades. It gives me even desktop lighting, lighting up the desk without putting glare on the monitor, so my eyes don't get as tired during long editing or writing sessions. It also gives me automatic brightness, so I can let it adjust to the room so I'm not fiddling around when natural light shifts. And I get these quick touch controls so I can control things easily without having to open an app or have to reach up to the device itself. It's one of those things that doesn't feel techy or dramatic, but it makes the workstation feel calmer, which genuinely helps with my focus. I've got this Oakywood tray that holds a bunch of small peripherals that I often used to look for in a drawer, and now they're neatly in front of me and easily accessible. I hold things on there like the SanDisk Extreme SSD, which is where I keep all of my active video projects and big media files. It's fast enough to edit from directly as well, which is really cool. I've also got this Ugreen drive as more of an archive backup drive so I can offload finished projects and keep my internal storage from getting clogged. And then I've got other bits and pieces like a micro SD card adapter. I've got a fan for my camera when it overheats. I've got a pen from Nomad, which feels super premium. And of course, the trusted AirPods Pro free for when I want to block the world out. I won't go into a full review on the AirPods because you've probably seen a million of those already. But from an efficiency point of view, a few things do stand out. So you get the instant device switching between MacBook, iPhone and iPad, which means you don't lose time in fiddling through different menus to get your device connected again. And that alone, I think, makes the AirPods probably a must-have for all Apple fanboys like me. But also the active noise cancellation is just really, really good now. They've really improved it to the point where, I mean, it's good enough to work from if you're in a busy coffee shop or just an environment where you just need to block most of the sound out like a plane. I can still get deep work done with these, and therefore I've kind of ditched my headphones, and it takes up so little space on my desk over headphones that it's just a no-brainer. They're not the most audiophile headphones in the world, but as a daily driver for calls, editing, and just focused work, they just slot into the workflow perfectly. This one might seem a bit random in a desk setup video, but the Larq Purevis 2.1 water bottle basically lives on my desk most of the time. And obviously hydration and productivity are massively linked, and this bottle just removes the excuses. It's got a built-in UVC system, which means the bottle self-cleans, and you can also track how much water you're drinking using the Larq app. It also keeps your water super cool for days on end, no matter the room temperature. And so having this on my desk allows me to maintain my energy across the whole day. Obviously it's a premium water bottle, but everything that helps you build better habits at your desk is worth considering. So on the side of my desk, I've got the HOTO Handheld cordless vacuum, which again, I know it's not glamorous, but ridiculously practical. This one in particular has really good suction, and it's just a really premium feeling portable vacuum that you know is going to be good because HOTO makes some really, really good quality stuff. And I've constantly got stuff like cat hair, dust, and little bits of packaging that appear on my desk constantly. And when you're at your desk all day, you're going to get crumbs and stuff like that on there. And instead of letting it build up and doing a big clean once a week, I can do a 10-second tidy between tasks, just reaching down, grabbing my portable vacuum, and it just helps with like mental stimulation, keeping everything as tidy and as neat as possible. Now, you don't need these exact products, obviously, but think in terms of categories instead. So a good input combo, like a good keyboard and mouse, a clean power solution, quick access storage, good lighting that supports focus, earbuds or headphones that help you zone out, and a few little environmental hacks. The real gains come from removing friction, so fewer cables to plug, fewer clicks to perform the same action, fewer little annoyances that pull you out of flow. That's exactly the kind of thing I try to measure when I talk about time tracking and attention on this channel. Speaking of which, if you want to see how I actually measure my productivity on my Mac, I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this one. I'll see you there.